There's a new Ducktales teaser out there, which is only 15 seconds long. And they crammed a lot of stuff into these 15 seconds, which is why we'll be going through it frame by frame to see what animation madness we can discover. Welcome to Animator Island, your destination for animation contemplation. First off, I'll be using just the YouTube player because, that is the source that I have for that clip. And in case you didn't know, with period and comma, you can scrub through a video frame by frame. And the first little thing that I absolutely love is this little toe twirl here. And it's on twos. But you can see that each toe only has 2 frames to shine. This little amount of frames is enough that you can identify it as this little toe twirly motion. And yeah, even with that few frames. And then the second thing that I find interesting is how long this pose settles. Like cheaper animation could have stopped it right there, but this in this case, they let Donald really cushion into this pose. See for how many frames this is going on. And, well, actually, it's not that many frames because there's so much happening, but, it feels different as opposed to, he just hits the pose and then he's still. That feels different than he hits the pose and then there are 6 or 8 frames on twos where he settles. You can really feel this cushioning, and you need to feel it because now he has to leave his comfy pose for all the action going on. When he turns over the head, there's one thing that makes this motion especially interesting. It is actually the beak, which has a heavy follow-through overlap in these frames. And then eases relatively slowly. I mean, everything is super fast here. But see that? This little drag behind, that makes the head turn really awesome. And then what I liked about one of the kids in the background is how you can see how he snaps from this pose immediately to that pose. There's no breakdown that is indicating an arc or something like this. It's just the animation at its snappiest, and then it settles for him. And now in the next scene, I really like his crazy eyes. The fact that they are not lined up, that they are a little asymmetric, adds this little extra craziness to this scene until the moment where he becomes very focused, and this is called an intention cue. It's another sign, another indication of what he's about to do next. And now when he grabs it, first of all, beautiful smear frame. When he grabs it, they do it again. They don't do a breakdown for an arc. He just pulls it straight down. And yeah, it makes it super snappy. And actually the movement is so fast that it is straight. You don't need an arc here. And then for the other belt, he again does a beautiful little smear frame. And this time we get a breakdown that also feels a little bit like another anticipation. And then he's slamming that in there. So that is another thing that you should do if you have similar motion, like a character is doing something 2 times. You should not animate it the same way. In this case, they did that by, at first, there's a very fast motion, there's no breakdown. And then for the second, it's a little slower. Like it actually takes 2 frames to get all the way to the end. Look how much stuff is going on there with the pupil. Like, that is the beauty of 2D, that you can just draw stuff like this. There's one thing that I kind of don't like about this clip, that Uncle Scrooge is just glued to the screen as well. I mean, I guess they did that for clarity. So you would see him. The pupils again. And then the shivering is actually, there's only this opening and closing that is indicating the shivering. The rest is done with the sound effect. Look at this picture. Like, he's really melting in the sun. Very expressive. And is this a dinosaur in the background? Just a rhino. Interesting about this eye motion is that it has an overshoot. Like, it goes from here. There's a smear frame, first of all. Wonderful, again, wonderful 2D smear frame thing. Then it shoots over and then it comes back. And that is something that eyes usually don't do, or they do that for another reason. You know, it might happen that an eye looks, after a head turn, looks somewhere else and then refocuses, but it's not like a physical bounce back. And yeah, this you can do if you are making something cartoony, which is why this works very well here. Now about this walk, they do it again with the no breakdown. This is the first pose of the walk or run cycle, and then it immediately goes to the back pose. There's no breakdown indicating the arc of the motion. And now here there is on the way back. But yeah, this is actually something that I didn't do for the longest time. Like, I always thought that you have to show the middle position of a walk cycle. But you can make some really beautiful cartoony walks if you just go from one extreme, you hold that for a little, and then you snap right to the other. You can make some very beautiful walks with that. And then we have this beautifully constructed turn starting that is demonstrating how overlap works. You see his shoulder is pulling up his arm, and then the lower arm is being dragged behind by the upper arm. And then it goes to this beautiful circle curve around him. And you can see this arm shooting over because he's no longer dragging it in that direction. And then he is falling. Very nicely done. I really enjoyed this trailer. And actually, JK, the other Animator Island guy, he found on Twitter the animatic version of this clip, which was posted by the production company Golden Wolf. Yeah, this stuff is not made by Disney. They are outsourcing that. But, I mean, with beautiful results. And it's really interesting to see this animatic and what has changed and what was already in there. As you can see, the foot twirl was already indicated here. And then the insane saddle, there are already a lot of saddle frames. Like, this is not an animatic. This is already a rough animation, actually. And then the kids. Pretty awesome. Yeah, and you can actually see the two stations, like the different kinds of ways he puts the belt in. Like, there's the first one where he just goes straight to there. Then there's the second one where he holds it first and then slams it in. That's already indicated in the rough. And now this part is different. No, this is not the part that's different. The part that is different is this one. It's not like in the trailer in the end where Scrooge is here and then there's just a submarine there. Here he actually puts out his finger and a fish, a piranha, bites it. And I like this. I didn't understand why they took it out. I guess they were thinking that too much was already going on. But I think this serves as an excellent transition to the shiver scene. Can see, I think the overshoot of the eyes is already, at least the smear frame is already indicated for this one. and then the beautiful turnaround. So there's a lot to discover if you go through animation frame by frame. I can only encourage you to do that. Grab your favorite film and see what you can discover, and let me know what you find. Maybe you saw something else in this trailer. There's so much to see. Please let me know your findings in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I talk to you next time.